Welcome. You're with the Nasty Pastor, and I'm back with another read from Exodus, the book of Moses. You know what I mean? The book Moses made a departure, made a stand against a culture that raised him. You got what I'm saying? And it's been enlightening. You know, it's been some enlightening um understanding for me when I got into this pamphlet, Islam Explained. You got what I'm saying? And you know, I've always said that Moses went on and took the knowledge of Kemet into another land. You feel what I'm saying? So I say this to you again. You know, I was not wrong in saying Islam has its own root. You feel what I'm saying? Its own root. Islam was already in the Middle East. You feel what I'm saying? Lot had to do that. That was the first Jew that is known that went into Canaan. You feel what I'm saying? It's been recorded. It's history. It's biblical history. So if Lot started Judaism, you got what I'm saying? That is root. That is fruit. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? That is fruit for you right there. Because see, remember, Abraham and Lot was at war with each other too. That's why the demiurge separated them. They was about to kill each other. But the demiurge separated them and sent Lot in one direction and sent Abraham in another direction. Now, after Abraham did what he did in Africa, in Egypt, in Kemet, you know, he gave a son to the nation, to our nation. You got what I'm saying? He put a son in our nation. And from that, his son grew up to understand our ways, live in our culture, respect our culture, and bring some rational thinking into our culture. And then left our culture with his people that we enslaved. You get me? With his people we enslaved, and took his teachings, everything, into another land, reformed Judaism into Torah. You feel what I'm saying? That way you get the Torah from right there. You get it? Now let's get up to Jesus. You get what I'm saying? What Jesus did. Jesus went in there and did what? Looked at everything and said, you know, son, we're gonna do this a little different. Boom, 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 bam. Now we got Christianity out this. And something had to have been wrong in the Jewish community for them to come along and produce Islam. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Something had to have been, you know what I mean? Something had to have been divided. Something had to have been, no, we ain't doing it that way. We're going to go back and do it this way. And we're going to present this a little different. Look, you've been with no, not you've been, you're still with the Nasty Pastor. Like I said, it's another read of Exodus. And we're on chapter 14. 14. And I ain't gonna hold you up. You know what I mean? Let's go and proceed. This is the Red Sea crossing. Now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel that they turn and camp before Pi-hahiroth. Pi-hahiroth, between Migdal and the sea, opposite Baal-Zephon. You shall camp before it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say that the children of Israel, they are bewildered by the land. The wilderness has closed them in. Then I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue them, and I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. And they did so. Now think about how he played with Pharaoh. How he knew Pharaoh's next move. Isn't that chess? You have to win at a game of chess, you have to know your opponent's next move. Now isn't the demiurge something? Isn't the demiurge something? And I'm going to say this to you on some real stuff, you know what I mean? Suppose who Moses was praying to, Amun-Ra, Satan, the devil, went to Moses and presented himself as the demiurge. You understand what I'm saying? As the demiurge. You feel what I'm saying? and had Moses feeling like, okay, we're doing something good, which it was. You got what I'm saying? It was good, so it would be easy to understand the next steps of young Ramses, right? 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 And see the demise of that culture, because there's something that was not done, was not listened to, was supposed to take place that didn't happen, right? I say this, you know what I mean? I hope it didn't go that way. I hope that was the demiurge, you know what I mean, and not Satan that came to Moses and bam, 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 blah, 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 because it proves a fact and it proves a theory that the demiurge can intervene at any time. And it tells you and it shows you when your time is up, move on. Move on. I ran into a guy yesterday, Saturday morning. I hadn't seen in a while, and he said, "Man, good to see you." I said, "Yeah, good to see you too, man. It's very nice to keep it moving. You got what I'm saying? You're a blessed person to keep things moving. You feel me? You're not supposed to stand in some things. Keep it moving so you can continue to be blessed." For Pharaoh would say to the children of Israel, "They are bewildered by the land. The wilderness has closed them in. Then I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue them, and I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord." And they did so. Now it was told the king of Egypt that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people, and they said, "Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" So he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. Also he took 600 choice chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt with captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with boldness. So the Egyptians pursued them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, his horsemen and his army, and overtook them camping by the sea beside Pi-hahiroth before Baal-zephon. I want to say this because I don't want to miss that part. You got what I don't want to forget that part of what I just read. And you see how his counsel was just as ignorant as he was? Man, why is you letting him go? After everything that's been done, why is you letting them go? That won't number the double million. That won't number the double million to decrease our military more. You get what I'm saying? You know, the babies is the future. You get what I'm saying? Already killed off every male firstborn. You get what I'm saying? Now you get ready to take our army and chase these people down. Now, what we need, we don't have, right? So what are we now? Vulnerable. Anybody can come in. Man, let me tell you something. A bird can come in there and take over the kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? A flock of birds can come in there and take it over. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were very afraid, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Then they said to Moses, "Because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you so dealt with us to bring us up out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, 'Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians'? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness." Now you see the doubt in them. You see the doubt, and you're not supposed to doubt. You got what I'm saying? You're not supposed to doubt. Your Messiah. And yes, Moses, you might have said Moses was a Messiah, because Moses was spoke of the same way Jesus was spoke of. So why are you doubting? Why? I say this, and it's probably going to be Look, I'm going to just say this. You know, the mob is structured with a counselor. The original mob, Italian mafia, was structured with a counselor inside the mob. Each family had a counselor. And then, you know, that's who the capo goes and talks to for answers. If your capo is ignorant, do you think the mob would have lasted as long as they lasted? Do you? Your counselor is supposed to be more educated, more rational thinking than you will ever be. Ever be. And they're never to get dirty. You got what I'm saying? They're never to be dirty because they are the ones, they are the backbone of that organization. So I say this to you once again, you know what I mean? Know who you're around. Understand who you're around. Because see, your right hand will take you down. Your left hand will behead you. And Moses said to the people, do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And the Lord said to Moses, why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward, but lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I indeed will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. So I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, his chariots, and his horsemen. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gained honor for myself over Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. And the angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud went from before them and stood behind them. So it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. Thus it was a cloud and darkness to the one, and it gave light by night to the other, so that the one did not come near the other all that night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them and their right hand and on their left. I want to pause right there for a minute before we finish this up. You got what I'm saying? We don't have too much more to go. What you would have done, you know, did you see the movie Exodus? What you would have done if you're standing and you're looking down and you're seeing the sea, you know, dividing itself, and you're seeing where Moses and his people can get through with no harm. What you would have done? Would you would have followed? Because I wouldn't have. That is some marvelous, that is a miracle only a divine supreme entity can make happen. Right then and there, I would say, no, you get up, yeah, you keep moving. Come on, you go. Giddy up. Get thee up. Yeah, I'm glad you're gone. You get what I'm saying? Because you have something on your side that is way powerful than me. Way powerful than me. Whom I'm praying to ain't nothing to who you got in your corner. Let me carry my butt on back to the palace. Rethink things. Apologize to some people for their babies dying, for having famine in our land, for all the diseases that came into our land. And the Egyptians pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Now it came to pass in the morning watch that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud, and he troubled the army of the Egyptians. And he took off their chariot wheels so that they drove them with difficulty. And the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians. Come on now. There you go. The Lord, the demiurge. Come on now. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians on their chariots and on their horsemen. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and when the morning appeared, the sea returned to its full depth, while the Egyptians were fleeing into it. So the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Then the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. Not so much as one of them remained. But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. So the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Thus Israel saw the great work which the Lord had done in Egypt. So the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. That's the end of chapter 14. And I just want to say this, man. You got to be an ignorant person to go through all of that. It seemed like your purpose, your reign, your understanding was to kill off your unknowingly understanding was to kill off our culture. Had to be. Unknowingly had to be. You got what I'm saying? And if you knew that what he had to do, come on, why you just ain't kill yourself? Kill yourself. You got what I'm saying? Go on out there, get the little man that you got standing at the little hanging deck and tell him hang you. Get, you know what I mean? Just hang me. I ain't doing this to my people. But see, that's the thing about ignorance. See, ignorance want to take everybody with them. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody with them. Everybody. They don't want to do nothing by themselves. They don't want to die by themselves. They don't want to lie by themselves. They don't want to get high by themselves. They don't want to do nothing by themselves. You understand what I'm saying? They always want to pull you in their turmoil. Wake up. You got what I'm saying? Young men and women, some of you elders that's still trying to restructure your life, wake up. Move some stuff away from you. There's nothing wrong with being alone. There's nothing wrong with having peace in your life. Because the more peace you have in your life, the more you can see things. Because you will always be able to see that intruder coming in to take your peace away from you. Look, you've been with the nasty pastor. There's been another reading from out of Exodus, from out of our Holy Bible. And I just want to say this to you, you know what I mean? Yes, I'm a Kenite. And yes, I'm going to be hard on that ancestor right there. That ancestor right there. You get it? Love you, and I'm out.